The biggest birds on the planet. A fascinating guide to the largest living and extinct avian species. Introduction. Birds are among the most diverse and widespread groups of animals on Earth. They inhabit every continent and ocean, and have adapted to a variety of habitats and climates. Some birds are tiny, like the bee hummingbird, which weighs only 2 grams and measures 5 centimeters in length. Others are enormous, like the ostrich, which can weigh up to 150 kilograms and stand 2.7 meters tall. But how big can a bird get? What are the factors that limit or enable the evolution of large body size in birds? And what are the advantages and disadvantages of being a giant bird? In this document, we will explore these questions and more, as we introduce you to the biggest birds on the planet, both living and extinct. We will examine their anatomy, behavior, ecology, and history, and learn about the challenges and opportunities they face in a changing world. The living giants. The biggest living birds belong to 2 groups, the ratites and the waterfowl. Ratites are flightless birds that have a flat breastbone without a keel, which is the attachment point for the flight muscles in most birds. Ratites include ostriches, emus, cassowaries, rheas, and kiwis. Waterfowl are birds that are adapted to aquatic environments, such as lakes, rivers, and oceans. Waterfowl include ducks, geese, swans, and pelicans. Among the waterfowl, the heaviest and longest birds are the swans, while the tallest birds are the pelicans. In this section, we will look at the 4 largest living bird species by weight, height, and length, and compare their features and lifestyles. The ostrich, Struthiocamelus, is the heaviest and tallest living bird, as well as the fastest runner. It can weigh up to 150 kilograms and stand 2.7 meters tall. It can also run at speeds of up to 70 kilometers per hour, using its powerful legs and feet, which have 2 toes each. The ostrich has a long neck and a small head, with large eyes and a short, flat bill. It has brown or black feathers on its body, and white feathers on its wings and tail. The male ostrich has a black and white plumage, while the female ostrich has a grayish-brown plumage. The ostrich is native to Africa, where it lives in savannas, grasslands, and deserts. It is a herbivore, feeding on seeds, fruits, leaves, and flowers, but it can also eat insects, lizards, and small rodents. The ostrich is a social bird, living in flocks of up to 50 individuals, led by a dominant male. The ostrich is polygamous, meaning that one male mates with several females. The females lay their eggs in a communal nest, which can contain up to 60 eggs. The eggs are the largest of any living bird, weighing about 1.4 kilograms each. The male and the dominant female take turns incubating the eggs, which hatch after about 40 days. The chicks are precocial, meaning that they can walk and feed themselves soon after hatching. The ostrich is an important animal for many African cultures, who use its feathers, skin, meat, and eggs for various purposes. The ostrich is also farmed in many countries around the world, for the same reasons. The ostrich is not endangered, but it faces threats from habitat loss, hunting, and predation by lions, hyenas, and other carnivores. The emu, Dromaeus novahollandii, is the second heaviest and tallest living bird, after the ostrich. It can weigh up to 60 kilograms and stand 1.9 meters tall. It can also run at speeds of up to 50 kilometers per hour, using its long legs and feet, which have 3 toes each. The emu has a long neck and a small head, with brown eyes and a long, pointed bill. It has brown or gray feathers on its body, and black and white feathers on its wings and tail. The male and female emu have similar plumage, but the female is slightly larger and louder. The emu is native to Australia, where it lives in various habitats, such as forests, grasslands, and deserts. It is an omnivore, feeding on seeds, fruits, flowers, insects, and small animals. The emu is a nomadic bird, moving in search of food and water. It is usually solitary or in pairs, but it can form large flocks during the breeding season. The emu is monogamous, meaning that one male mates with one female. The female lays her eggs in a shallow nest on the ground, which can contain up to 20 eggs. The eggs are dark green in color and weigh about 500 grams each. The male incubates the eggs, which hatch after about 50 days. The chicks are precocial and follow the male for up to 2 years. The emu is a symbol of Australia and appears on its coat of arms and some coins. The emu is also hunted and farmed for its meat, oil, feathers, and eggs. The emu is not endangered, but it faces threats from habitat loss, hunting, and predation by dingoes, foxes, and eagles. The southern cassowary, Casuarius casuarius, is the third heaviest and tallest living bird, after the ostrich and the emu. It can weigh up to 58 kilograms and stand 1.8 meters tall. It can also run at speeds of up to 50 kilometers per hour, using its strong legs and feet, which have 3 toes each. The middle toe has a long, sharp claw, which can be used as a weapon. The cassowary has a short neck and a large head, with a distinctive helmet-like crest, called a casque, on top. It has dark brown or black feathers on its body, and bright blue and red skin on its neck and face. The male and female cassowary have similar plumage and casque, but the female is larger and more aggressive. The cassowary is native to New Guinea and northeastern Australia, or it lives in tropical rainforests. It is a frugivore, feeding mainly on fruits, but it can also eat fungi, insects, and small animals. The cassowary is a shy and solitary bird, avoiding contact with humans and other animals. It is territorial, defending its home range from intruders. The cassowary is polygamous, meaning that one male mates with several females. The female lays her eggs in a nest on the ground, which can contain up to 8 eggs. The eggs are pale green in color, and weigh about 600 grams each. The male incubates the eggs, which hatch after about 50 days. The chicks are precocial, and stay with the male for up to 9 months. The cassowary is a keystone species, meaning that it plays a vital role in dispersing seeds and maintaining the diversity of the rainforest. The cassowary is also revered by some indigenous cultures, who consider it a sacred animal. The cassowary is endangered, and faces threats from habitat loss, hunting, and collisions with vehicles. The Mut Swan, Cygnus solar, is the heaviest and longest living waterfowl, and the 4th heaviest living bird, after the ostrich, the emu, and the cassowary. It can weigh up to 28 kilograms and measure 2.8 meters in length, from the tip of its bill to the tip of its tail. It can also fly at speeds of up to 80 kilometers per hour, using its long wings, which span 2.4 meters. The Mut Swan has a long neck and a large head, with an orange bill and a black knob at the base. It has white feathers on its body, and black feet. The male and female Mut Swan have similar plumage and knob, but the male is larger and has a thicker neck. The Mut Swan is native to Europe and Asia, but it has been introduced to other regions, such as North America and Australia. It lives in freshwater and brackish habitats, such as lakes, rivers, and estuaries. It is a herbivore, feeding on aquatic plants, but it can also eat insects, fish, and frogs. The Mut Swan is a social and territorial bird, living in pairs or flocks, and defending its nesting site from rivals. The Mut Swan is monogamous, meaning that one male mates with one female. The female lays her eggs in a large nest on the ground or on an island, which can contain up to 10 eggs. The eggs are pale gray or blue-green in color, and weigh about 340 grams each. The male and female take turns incubating the eggs, which hatch after about 35 days. The chicks are altricial, meaning that they are helpless and depend on their parents for food and protection. The chicks are gray or brown in color, and have a short bill and a small knob. They stay with their parents for up to a year, and learn to fly at about 10 weeks. The Mut Swan is a symbol of beauty, grace, and loyalty, and appears in many myths, legends, and artworks. The Mut Swan is also valued for its meat, feathers, and eggs. The Mut Swan is not endangered, but it faces threats from habitat loss, pollution, and predation by foxes, dogs, and raptors. The extinct giants. The biggest birds that ever lived are now extinct, but they left behind fossils and traces that reveal their amazing features and lifestyles. Some of these birds were flightless, like the ratites, while others were flying, like the waterfowl. Some of these birds were herbivores, while others were carnivores. Some of these birds lived millions of years ago, while others lived until recently. In this section, we will look at the 4 largest extinct bird species by weight, height, and length, and compare their features and lifestyles. The elephant bird, Epiornis maximus, was the heaviest and tallest extinct bird, as well as the largest bird that ever lived. It could weigh up to 500 kilograms and stand 3 meters tall. It was a flightless bird, with reduced wings and a massive body. It had a long neck and a large head, with a thick, hooked bill. It had brown or black feathers on its body, and no feathers on its legs and feet. The male and female elephant bird had similar plumage and size. The elephant bird lived in Madagascar, where it was the largest land animal. It was a herbivore, feeding on fruits, seeds, and leaves. It was a solitary and nocturnal bird, hiding in the forest during the day and foraging at night. It was territorial, marking its home range with dung and footprints. The elephant bird was monogamous, meaning that one male mated with one female. The female laid her eggs in a nest on the ground, which could contain up to 3 eggs. The eggs were the largest of any bird, measuring up to 34 centimeters in length and weighing up to 10 kilograms. The eggs were white or cream in color, with reddish-brown spots. The male incubated the eggs, which hatched after about 60 days. The chicks were precocial, and grew rapidly. The elephant bird was a source of food, feathers, and eggs for the native people of Madagascar, who also revered it as a sacred animal. The elephant bird went extinct about 1,000 years ago, due to hunting, habitat loss, and the introduction of invasive species, such as dogs, pigs, and rats. The giant moa, Dinornis robustus, was the second heaviest and tallest extinct bird, after the elephant bird. It could weigh up to 250 kilograms and stand 2.5 meters tall. It was a flightless bird, with small wings and a robust body. It had a long neck and a small head, with a short, pointed bill. It had brown or gray feathers on its body, and no feathers on its legs and feet. The male and female giant moa had similar plumage, but the female was larger and heavier. The giant moa lived in New Zealand, where it was the largest land animal. It was a herbivore, feeding on leaves, twigs, and fruits. It was a social and diurnal bird, living in flocks of up to 20 individuals, and roaming across different habitats, such as forests, grasslands, and wetlands. It was territorial, defending its feeding and nesting sites from rivals. The giant moa was polygamous, meaning that one male mated with several females. The female laid her eggs in a nest on the ground, which could contain up to 4 eggs. The eggs were large, measuring up to 24 centimeters in length and weighing up to 4 kilograms. The eggs were white or greenish in color, with brown spots. The male incubated the eggs, which hatched after about 80 days. The chicks were precocial, and followed the male for up to a year. The giant moa was a source of food, feathers, and bones for the native people of New Zealand, who also used its eggs for water containers and jewelry. The giant moa went extinct about 600 years ago, due to hunting, habitat loss, and the introduction of invasive species, such as dogs, rats, and humans. The Pelagornis sandersi, was the longest and widest extinct bird, as well as the largest flying bird that ever lived. It could measure up to 7 meters in length, from the tip of its bill to the tip of its tail, and have a wingspan of up to 12 meters. It was a flying bird, with long, narrow wings and a slender body. It had a long neck and a large head, with a long, pointed bill, which had tooth-like projections along the edges. It had black or brown feathers on its body, and white feathers on its wings and tail. The male and female Pelagornis had similar plumage and size. The Pelagornis lived about 25 million years ago, during the Oligocene epoch. It was a seabird, spending most of its time in the air, and gliding over the oceans. It was a carnivore, feeding on fish, squid, and crustaceans, which it caught by skimming the water surface with its bill. It was a solitary and migratory bird, traveling long distances across the continents and oceans. It was monogamous, meaning that one male mated with one female. The female laid her eggs in a nest on a cliff or an island, which could contain up to 2 eggs. The eggs were large, measuring up to 18 centimeters in length and weighing up to 2 kilograms. The eggs were white or gray in color, with brown spots. The male and female took turns incubating the eggs, which hatched after about 60 days. The chicks were altricial, and depended on their parents for food and protection. They learned to fly at about 6 months, and became independent at about 1 year. The Pelagornis was a remarkable bird, capable of flying for hours without flapping its wings, and crossing vast distances without landing. The Pelagornis went extinct about 10 million years ago, due to climate change, competition, and predation by other seabirds and marine mammals. The terror bird, Forus racos longissimus, was the heaviest and tallest extinct carnivorous bird, as well as the largest predatory bird that ever lived. It could weigh up to 300 kilograms and stand 3 meters tall. It was a flightless bird, with vestigial wings and a muscular body. It had a long neck and a huge head, with a massive, hooked bill, which had a sharp, downward-pointing tip. It had black or brown feathers on its body, and no feathers on its legs and feet. The male and female terror bird had similar plumage and size. The terror bird lived about 15 million years ago, during the Miocene epoch. It was a land bird, inhabiting the open plains and woodlands of South America. It was a carnivore, feeding on mammals, reptiles, and other birds, which it killed by delivering powerful blows with its bill. It was a solitary and territorial bird, hunting alone and defending its home range from rivals. It was polygamous, meaning that one male mated with several females. The female laid her eggs in a nest on the ground, which could contain up to 6 eggs. The eggs were large, measuring up to 20 centimeters in length and weighing up to 3 kilograms. The eggs were white or cream in color, with brown spots. The male incubated the eggs, which hatched after about 40 days. The chicks were precocial, and followed the male for up to a year. The terror bird was a fearsome bird, capable of running at speeds of up to 60 kilometers per hour, and dominating the food chain of its time. The terror bird went extinct about 2 million years ago, due to climate change, competition, and predation by other carnivores, such as saber-toothed cats and giant sloths. Conclusion. In this document, we have learned about the biggest birds on the planet, both living and extinct. We have seen that birds can vary greatly in size, shape, and lifestyle, and that they have evolved to cope with different challenges and opportunities in their environments. We have also seen that birds are fascinating and important animals, that have influenced and inspired many cultures and civilizations. We hope that this document has sparked your curiosity and appreciation for these amazing creatures, and that you will continue to explore and enjoy the world of birds.